Acceptance and letting go. This is a conversation that I've had with myself about this subject for about maybe almost half a year. And I've come to learn that so many of us know what it is, but it is like, it's a whole nother conversation to even consider or even be able to put into words. How do you apply it? And is what I've learned is, at least from my perspective, from my own personal experience, where anxiety comes from. I've learned from my own personal experience that anxiety comes from the lack of the ability to comprehend and acknowledge problems that we have not objectively confronted yet, or are mentally prepared to confront them. Anxiety comes from the lack of the ability to confront problems or situations, and it causes a mental strain, leading to a psychotic break, psychosis, and other symptoms. Worst case scenarios leading to situations where the phrase "stress kills" becomes the reality. It becomes literal. It becomes no different than a knife attack. Now, for me, it took maybe a week or longer of like maybe 4 days a week. Well, I'll say maybe 3 days a week. Sometimes 2 days a week, but anywhere in that range, 2 to 4 days, where I would be away from my phone for maybe 2-3 hours at a time, and I would use all of that time to ask all of the questions that I have always avoided answering. And it becomes a very heavy experience when it's something that, especially even for the subconscious runners, it's like so many things that we haven't confronted ourselves about and considered traumatic only because of the lack of exposure. It's like anything appears scary on the first look, and you could say and convince yourself that it'll always be scary. But even the natural scary and terrifying constructs, like stronger animals, bears, cougars, they're all scary, but with enough exposure and in relationship with them, you kind of learn a sense of understanding and appreciation for what they are. So it's like you still recognize the threat, but it doesn't scratch a fear on you anymore. You just have the fear transform into caution, understandable and respectful caution. A lot of strong-minded people know not to test other strong-minded people because they know what kind of destruction comes behind it. Whereas when you don't know, sometimes it can be scary, just from the element of unpredictability in it. And so, for me, the process of reaching acceptance took a period of a few hours where I'm confronting these problems and finally figuring out how to close that case for myself. What do I need to say, or what things do I need to think about that'll bring closure upon these things that I've ignored for who knows how long? And that's what worked. And it's like, once I'm closing all of these suitcases, and these are suitcases that I've been carrying since forever, and I finally get to a place where I'm like, this baggage, this traumatic mental, emotional situations that I've experienced are all malleable and ever changing. It's like the movie that we used to watch that we considered scary was only scary because we told ourselves it was scary going into it. As we get older and we learn how to control our reality, our universe, it becomes a different conversation. The same exact images end up meaning nothing to us. It's like, man, I've seen things that look like me that could be worse than that. So the idea of fictitious, like beasts and demons and ghouls and whatever, and all this stuff that's found on these screens, it doesn't mean anything anymore. All the weight is gone. And that's what I've discovered, confronting all of these subjects that was untended to. And after catering and nurturing those thoughts and bringing them to a close, the spiritual weight that allowed me to move was revitalizing. It's almost as if the telomeres in my body was restored to previous levels with a new sense of understanding for it. Unlocking superpowers that we always had, but just never was willing to go out there and figure out what it means to earn them. So what acceptance does for me now that I've crossed that threshold, it doesn't make daily life any less challenging, but what it does do is it transforms my view of it. Being able to smile through the midst of turmoil and catastrophe makes it to where all of existence becomes a playhouse, essentially. It's all of it. There's always something to laugh about, always something to critique for the sake of the game, per se. It's like, this is a new strat that I can get off of this. This is a new outlook and playbook that I can follow to get to the things that I wanna spend my experience points on when I level up. This is all it is. And what resources do I want to use? When I hop in my toolbox, how far down do I want to scroll to see what's in there that I thought was trash before, but ended up being absolutely life-saving and essential later. Picking and choosing. So that's what acceptance does. It just makes every day so much smoother. All of it's water now. There is no such thing as stops and breaks and mental exhaustion as much as it used to be, because the conditions that are needed to attain those things are already in place because of it. It's dope. Letting go, I end up discovering, is the second half of essentially lightening the spiritual load that we carry. Now, acceptance is essentially the beginning. It's acknowledging what it is and ignoring the emotion in it for the objectivity of it. Letting go what I feel for what I need. Acceptance is being able to look at what you acknowledge and accept that that is the absolute truth. There is no bias or edit to it. This is absolutely what it is. And what that acceptance does is it prevents further delusion. Accept the delusions that you create for the growth. It's like the fake it till you make it ideology. Give yourself a delusion of the grandiose goal so far ahead to where you push yourself naturally to do it. So it's like the delusion is in place to transform you into the person that you're meant to be at a smoother and possible faster rate. The letting go is the second half. After you're able to acknowledge and accept what you acknowledged, letting go is being able to unload all of the unnecessary weight. And it's multifaceted. For many of us, it's financial. Like, it was things, just real life example, like Netflix, where I got apps and websites and people that I can contact and be able to watch everything that I'm into for free. Whether I get somebody else's password or whether I go on one of these free websites. And it's not to say one is better than the other or I have a preference, but it's like we have options out here. And we all know we got options. There's so many ways where we could, depending on the decisions that we made leading up to this moment, where we've created so many assets that we leave on the table to get dusty. Like the asset of a closed circle. It's like you let other people have your password for so long to where it just doesn't make sense for you not to take advantage of opportunity that people are willing to provide to you. Like they openly and sparingly share it for the sake of you being able to enjoy the fruits of their labor in that sense. It's like you've blessed me in the sense that I just feel mandatory, where possible, to bless you back. It's a positive tit for tat. But letting go is essentially being able to look at what you already acknowledged and accepted, and letting go of everything. Financial for me, like I was saying with Netflix, I let go of Netflix. I mean, realistically, it just don't make sense. And then, I mean, on the other hand, it's like letting go of past and intoxicating situations that doesn't push you towards your mission. Like being focused and being able to like consistently and persistently stay on track, and knowing that everything that you're doing that doesn't go towards the mission or that doesn't go towards your growth, it doesn't develop you into the person that you need to be in order to maintain the destination. Right? There have been situations where I could have been hanging out with people doing things that would be fun or enjoyable, but it's like if I mean, given the direction that I'm absolutely have decided that is mandatory, it just doesn't make sense. Like I can enjoy myself and still be in a element or in a space where I'm able to get in my grind if I feel like that's the thing that I want to do. It just doesn't make sense to be in a situation or in a mental space where me being able to be my ambitious self isn't able to be appreciated. Like it just doesn't make sense. Whether it's like intimate, whether it's like business, like if I can't do what I love to do, which is what the mission is about anyways, and which is what the destination of the mission would bring me to, it just doesn't make sense to do it. So letting go is like letting go of that, and then letting go of things within your own spirit that you've been not liking or been having lingering within you, that you've been saying, you know, on this next New Year's resolution, this about me is going to change. I'm going to kick all these toxic people out and whatever the heck, you know, this grocery list of stuff that we've been saying for multiple years. It's like the conversation with the principle of letting go is like there is no waiting. There is no when this, then I am. It does not realistically make sense. When you're serious about something, when something is treated as a necessity, it's done now. Like if a bear broke into your window and you got a gun, you're reaching for that gun now. Like you're not putting that on the schedule. That's getting done right then. And if it can't get done right then, if it happened at a loved one house, and it's like, oh, it'll take me 2 days to get over there, you gonna make some stuff shake. Some gonna hit the counter. So it's like subconsciously we know when we're serious and when we're not. And even if you don't fully know and you're like learning yourself, that's okay too. Then consider learning like your own ticks, things that if this is in the situation, then it ticks me off or it sets me in this sort of headspace, and it makes you more inclined to do X, Y, and Z. Like understanding your behavioral ticks, and especially the reason why. When possible, it makes it to where you're able to recondition and reprogram ways into yourself that are for your benefit. So it makes letting go leaves you in place to move faster and propel more accurately in your future, because you're unloading things that deters and disrupts the quality of your growth experience. Acknowledge, accept, and then let go. And it will create a version of you that you never knew existed, was more powerful than you ever could imagine, more capable and more durable, more resilient, immersed into the universe than you ever could have imagined. And honestly, it's like as you learn more of what this reality means, the universe, and what it's meant to do for you, then it becomes that much more vital to maximize your experience. It's enjoyment and growth. It's the only thing that we're all doing. Everybody. From the lightness of the celebrities or spiritual people, or your own existence and living your relationships on a spiritual and physical level. All of that is fully under our control, and by acknowledging, then accepting, and then letting go, a version of you will evolve and blossom into a form so magnificent that the very thing that makes life vital is how beautiful the exposure itself, just to witness it in any form. It becomes the ultimate jewel of attainment that we all seek in our own ways. We all have different strategies and blueprints to get us there, but everybody is essentially chasing that same type of thing, a new level, an upgrade of the experience. So that is success. Money can do it for some people, or at least help get you there, but there is a lot to be done to get there. And once you get there, it will prepare you for what the next thing is. And oftentimes the next thing is only the motivation that is meant for us to have this kind of growth, because it is required for us to enjoy the real riches. But that's it. Psychotutor out.